Hey, this is Mr. Garvin, and I'm going to be talking about The Curse by Josh Ritter, and specifically what I want to talk about is The Mummy and the Curse, and whether or not the Mummy and the Curse is a good guy or if he's kind of a jerk. And my opinion on the matter is that the Mummy in the song is kind of a jerk, and I think I can back it up with text evidence. The first thing I want to look at is at the beginning of the song, the Mummy supposedly falls in love at first sight with the girl in the doorway. But I don't think this is genuine love at all. I think he's in love with an opportunity. They don't speak the same language. They're not from the same time period, etc., etc. So I don't believe that he's actually in love with that girl. On down in the song, it talks about the progress they're making. She's writing the book about him, and she's doing the research, and it says that often he stops to rest, but then less and less. Then it's her that looks tired, staying up asking questions. He learns how to read from the papers that she's writing about him, and he makes corrections. So I think what we see here is that he's growing stronger as she's aging and getting weaker. And there's never any indication that the Mummy is looking for her to settle down with this girl or this woman. And as she ages, she gets weaker and weaker. He gets stronger and stronger. And you never see him being committed to her. You only see the Mummy being committed to his own life and his own agenda, and rebuilding or building a new life here in the time period that he's in now. I think you can learn a lot by what's omitted or what is not said. And when the Mummy gets up at the museum and he walks outside, Josh Ritter, who wrote the song, only chose to tell us that she was happy to see him. She never says anything about him being happy to see her. And that's kind of common in the song. You see her emotions, but you don't really see his. And again, in this time, as he's done before in the song already, he avoids the question when she says, "Are you cursed?" but his answer's obscured by a sandstorm of flashbulbs and rowdy reporters. So it says his answer's obscured, but he's got this pattern of avoiding that question, not wanting to talk about it. You know, this is glaringly obvious here, but he's meeting other women, and as they're going around the country, he's getting out of limos, he's becoming famous while she's growing old. And it says he speaks of her fondly their nights in the museum, and I think you could take that as, a positive, like he speaks of her fondly, but I think things you've talked fondly about in the way he's doing are things that happened in the past that you're done with, that you've moved on from. And it's not that I don't think the Mummy disliked her or hated her or anything like that. I think he was just I think he's selfish, and he was using her to move on with life. And the line that he speaks of her fondly, their nights in the museum, I think speaks to this, and speaks to this idea that he's thinking about it like, oh, remember the good old days before I'd gotten all my strength when this one lady helped me get on my feet. I think it's that kind of a thing. And then I think what's the cruelest, most sad line in the entire song is the line that she's just one more rag now he's dragging behind him. And we see in the video, we saw this shot of her in the limo, and I thought that the artist captured this perfectly, the tragedy and the sadness of this scene. She's just another thing from his past that he's got to drag around. And at this point, it's clear that he's done with her, and he's got his own thing going. And then it flashes back after she dies, which it doesn't tell us if he was present when she died or not. He could have been out with his other women at that point. We don't know. We can assume maybe from the context that he was. But she asks why pyramids, and he says to think of them as an immense invitation. And sadly for her, I think she was the unfortunate guest that accepted the invitation to the pyramids, because they put them out there, they buried them under these pyramids, and they're an invitation to people in the future to come find them so that this may happen. And I think he knew all along this is what was going to happen. And again, he kisses her, he kisses her at the end of the flashback to get out of answering the question. And so, again, I don't think it's genuine love that he feels for her. And it says then he kissed her and hoped that she'd forget that question. And so he didn't want her to think about any curse or about him or about the fact that he's going to live on forever and she's going to die. He's regained this life and this strength, and he's going to have his own new life now, and it's not going to be with her. And I think he knew that, and that was one of the reasons he wanted her to forget talking about a curse and anything like that.